I'm sure we're all familiar with the news yesterday of a terror attack in Ramot in Jerusalem, in which 6 Israelis were killed, many more injured, waiting for a bus stop by 2 Palestinian Authority Arabs. Civilians just merely waiting for the bus in a Haredi neighborhood. Certainly no soldiers there. No one like that. Children, old people, waiting for a bus. This is what we have to deal with here in Israel. I wanted to take a look at this video. It was put out yesterday. I thought it was worth taking a look, describing the circumstances of what happened. I'm going to do the translation.
אלו הם שני המחבלים הנתעבים שביצעו את הפיגוע הקטלני היום. אלו הם שני
So these are them. These are the 2 Arab killers that killed a bunch of unarmed civilians yesterday waiting for a bus. Everyone talks about terrorists, terrorists, terrorists. Someone explained to me how you could see these 2 guys on the street and know that they're terrorists. Right? So this is what we have to deal with. Everyone says, well, they're just Arab citizens. Yeah, just like these 2. Right? Okay.
מחבלים הנתעבים שביצעו את הפיגוע הקטלני היום בצומת רמות, שבו נרצחו 6 ישראלים ונפצעו עשרות. לפי תקשורת הערבית, אחד המחבלים הוא נג'י עומר מהכפר אל...
So where did he come from? This village close to Jerusalem, not in Israel, in the Palestinian Authority.
בייבה, הסמוך לירושלים. הוא נכלא בעבר בישראל ושוחרר.
He was in a jail in Israel in the past and was released. Of course. I wonder which American president it was that twisted the arm of the state of Israel to release this Arab gentleman in whatever past deal there was. Maybe it was Shalit, maybe it was something else. Yes, of course. Was in jail, released, and now he kills a bunch of unarmed civilians waiting for a bus. Tremendous. Even better. Now this guy's father apparently was arrested in the past by the IDF. So we say, yeah, we're going to arrest the terrorists. Great. And their 9 children that go and continue to do what they do. What about them? They're children. They're all... See, and here is the truth. It says, what about the children? Well, this guy that murdered all these Jews today, he was this guy's child. And now he murdered Jewish children today. Okay.
מחבל.
Yeah, see all these civilians running for their lives here. And we'll talk about this also. Notice this nice, beautiful construction site over here. I wonder who has been spending time here working, and maybe observing this bus stop over here to see the perfect time to attack Jews. Something to think about.
המחבל השני, בסם טה, היה תושב הכפר קטנה שגם הוא סמוך לירושלים.
Another small Arab village just outside of Jerusalem. Of course. Sure.
היום לאחר הפיגוע פשטו כוחות צה"ל על ביתו בכפר
No. See, the IDF, they're walking around, they're checking out the village. Why? Why? We know who's in this village. What are you guys looking for? What are they looking for exactly? What? To lock the barn door after the horses run away?
כך זה נראה.
No, you say, yeah, they're driving around in the jeeps and whatever. Okay, great, fantastic. And what will this accomplish?
שני המחבלים שב"חים ולפי החשד
Shabachim, right. In Hebrew, it basically means infiltrators. They came in illegally. And what's the suspicion? They came in through the fence. The impenetrable fence that we always hear about. Let's take a look at what this fence actually looks like. Right? Oh, you see? You see this little wire fence here? Who is this keeping out? Who is this keeping out? So you see, you have Arab villages here, Arab villages here. They come down, they just take some, I don't even know. Maybe, you probably don't even need bolt cutters. Something much lighter than that even. You cut a hole in the fence, you walk right through. Yeah. That's what it says. How easy is it exactly to sneak in from Judea and Samaria into Yerushalayim? Look, and here's the sickest part of this whole joke. You see this nothing fence that they put up? Who's putting this up? A Palestinian Authority Arab. That's who puts it up. They put up the fence and they cut right through it. It would be funny if it wasn't so sick and it didn't have such devastating results. It would actually be funny, but it isn't.
יהודה ושומרון לירושלים. כך נראה סרטון שצילם רכז שטח בתנועת רגבים.
Yeah, the organization Regavim, who does good work. They're a Jewish organization. I believe they're out in the West Bank, doing all kinds of efforts for Jewish sovereignty and things like this. They have a video here. They're driving through these Palestinian villages to Jerusalem to see how easy it is exactly to get there. They're just driving through the Palestinian Authority. Yeah, they drive through one of these villages that one of these terrorists came from. Just driving right through it. Apparently it's well-known. It's a well-known path for infiltrators into Israel. It says completely open. No checkpoints, no nothing. Just wide open. And this is actually the craziest part of all, because everyone can see this when they take the train from Jerusalem to Tel Aviv. You'll notice this when you go over. There's a big giant valley on the way out of Jerusalem, and the bridge goes over it, and you can see Arab villages right on the side. You're thinking, how does the IDF, how does the Shin Bet, how do all these security agencies protect against shooting, bombing, anything like this? And the video is saying it's not protected at all. It's not protected at all. It says a 3-minute drive from this village, a 3-minute drive, and you could drive right here, right here. Just think about the potential devastation. God forbid a train is going over this bridge when it blows up. Just consider this. And the government has no answer. They have no answer whatsoever.
חמאס פרסמו הודעה שבה הם משבחים את הפיגוע היום, וכמובן שגם תושבי עזה שמחו כששמעו על הפיגוע.
Of course, not just Hamas, but the citizens of Gaza were rejoicing. Of course, the same citizens of Gaza that Benjamin Netanyahu was feeding. Nice.
من قلب غزة
نبارك
العملية
ونقول
لكم الله إنكم سود يا شباب بيت المقدس.
That's tremendous. And we said, what about the innocents of Gaza? That's the innocent of Gaza right there. That's the innocent of Gaza right there. Celebrating Jews being killed at a bus stop. Do you want to talk about the innocents of Gaza? That's him right there.
המלחמה שלנו מתנהלת בכמה זירות, והיום קיבלנו תזכורת כואבת לכך.
Yeah. Netanyahu's always complaining. The guy never stops complaining. We have a multi-front war, multi-front war, multi-front war. Does he plan on stopping these fronts? No. No. Now, this report is really too crazy. This hasn't been confirmed, although there are eyewitness reports. And we know the government's not going to have an interest in reporting on this. Well, here you go. Eyewitness claims. Reports say the bus driver of this bus stopped at the station, got out, gathered his things, got on his phone, and disappeared just before terrorists entered the bus and shot passengers point-blank range on the bus. What does that sound like? Now, we all know, and a lot of us have been noticing, that a lot of the bus drivers are Arabs. Almost on purpose. 20% Arabs in Israel. A lot more than 20% of the bus drivers are Arabs. Tell me, it's jobs Jews won't do? Driving a bus is an easy job. It's an easy job. But guess what? They seem to have almost a unionized control over this particular job. A man on a bike allegedly arrived early to film the incident. It's unconfirmed, meaning that the government has not confirmed it, but it's based on local eyewitness accounts, and there were plenty of people there. So we can't say that this definitively happened, but guess what? The government has a vested interest in not admitting this to be true. And why? Because consider what would be the case if the public realized that their Arab bus driver on every single route could potentially be calling in whoever and saying, oh yeah, listen, I'm leaving the bus. You come right now? You can shoot everyone on this bus and I'm leaving. What does that mean? It means a problem that the Israeli government has zero idea how to solve. What do you do? What do you do? You have a problem on your hands that simply will paralyze the public, number one, and number two, once they get over that paralyzation, they will understand what the actual problem is. That's a problem the government does not want to have to admit at all. Now, I also mentioned this in the video. If you take a look, this is like the overhead shot. You see the devastation down here. But take a look at this. This whole construction site. Do we want to guess who's been working on this construction site all this time? It's our friend Ofra Haddad. Again, as an example, I don't think that she is involved in this. But people like Ofra Haddad, companies like her company, and there are plenty of them, but they all do the same exact thing. They go out there, and what did we say? They go out there and hire Palestinian Authority Arabs. Why not? Like she said in that interview, it's cheap, cheap, cheap. That's all she cares about. And they're all sitting here watching, taking videos, waiting for an opportunity. And alas, we have what we have yesterday. Even though these shooters were illegal, quote unquote illegal, I guarantee a lot of the Arabs that were here, Palestinian Authority Arabs, got permits. Right? What did Ofra Haddad say in that interview? It was easy. It was very easy to get Palestinian Authority permits. Maybe it's a little bit harder now. Sure, for now. Still, according to numbers, 16,000 Palestinian Authority Arabs. 16,000. It's not a small number. How many Hamas fighters do you think came into Israel on October 7th? A lot less than 16,000. And look at what they did. We have these people everywhere. Everywhere. In what authorities call soft target spots. Like a bus stop. Does anyone want to admit the truth? What's actually going on? No. No. Do we have a single member of Knesset that comes out and says, we have to stop Palestinian Authority labor immediately? And all permits? Because it's not just labor permits. They have entry permits into Israel. Why? Who knows? They just do. No. And is there a single Knesset member? No. 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 Not Ben-Gvir, not Smotrich, not Moshe Feiglin. Moshe Feiglin wants to convince all of us that he's the guy to lead the country. All I hear from him, Oslo, 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 Oslo. Meanwhile, our government allows these Arabs to come into Israel from the Palestinian Authority. They're not Israeli Arabs. And they let them in too, sure. Does Moshe Feiglin say anything about that? No. No. So when people ask me, who should I vote for? I said, if these are your options, I don't vote. I don't vote for these people. What's the point? For what? But of course, here it is. Swift action. Swift action from our right-wing government. Following yesterday's terror attack in Jerusalem, Defense Minister Katz has ordered swift action. Let's see the swift action that he's referring to. Civilian sanctions on terrorist families. Civilian sanctions. What does that even mean? It's a bunch of nothing. It's a bunch of nothing. What is that? But the next two are unbelievable. Destroying all illegal structures in their villages. Why are illegal structures there now? Why have they not been destroyed previously? So Defense Minister Katz wants to tell us that the punishment for this village and these Arabs killing Jews is that the Israeli government will do their job and knock down illegal structures. Wow. Revoking 750 work and entry permits to Israel? 750? Where did that number come from? I did the math. If the number is 16,000, which is far reduced from where it was, but still 16,000, this is 4.5% of work permits, not entry permits even, only work permits. Why not revoke them all? Can someone explain to me why they all aren't being revoked? Why? Because what do we say? Profits first, security last, Israel last. That's why. No, our friend Ofra Haddad said it well. He said, it's cheap for us. It's cheap for us. That's why it's good. That's why Palestinian Authority labor is good. Now, is Palestinian Authority labor saving Israel money? Is it? Now, these gentlemen were not Palestinian Authority laborers, but plenty of them are. And plenty of them in the past have committed terror attacks. All of the security costs involved with bringing in Palestinian Authority laborers, that's a huge burden on the public. So it's not that we are saving money with Palestinian Authority laborers. It's that the burden is simply being transferred. It's being transferred from the private sector to the public sector. The corporations win and the public loses. That's the answer. Israel Katz, anybody. Is anybody going to stand up and do the right thing and end Palestinian Authority labor and say, you know how many entry permits we're giving to Palestinians into Israel? This many. Do we have any Knesset members saying that where are the punishments for illegal infiltrators into Israel? We know that there's, according to some accounts, hundreds of thousands at any given point of illegal infiltrators in Israel, living on construction sites, living in Israel, period, and nothing. Now here's a different interesting point. Bezalel Smotrich last week, I believe it was last week, proposed 82% annexation of the West Bank into Israel. Now, annexing 82% of the West Bank into Israel would make a lot of these security concerns much easier because the IDF would have full access to, not full access, but 82% access. Certainly, this area immediately surrounding Jerusalem would be part of Israel now. It would be much easier to operate, much easier to make sure that things like this don't happen. According to reports, Benjamin Netanyahu said, no, we're not considering this. It's going to hurt our Abraham Accord scheme. But Bezalel Smotrich, where is he? Has he followed up on this? Has he come out now and said, now we see why we need to have annexation? Annexation is crucial for Israeli security? No, nothing. You hear nothing from Bezalel Smotrich anymore. He proposed it and disappeared. Is this the kind of bold Israel first leadership that we need? No. Bezalel Smotrich, nothing. Ben-Gvir, nothing. Moshe Feiglin, who is just the epitome of irrelevancy, nothing. Zero. So just like always, the public is left to fend for themselves. But don't worry, they're going to explain to us that we need to vote for them. It's very important that we vote for them. Yeah. Now this, apparently, Israel, it seems, has agreed to this proposal. It seems that Israel has agreed to this proposal. And what's the proposal? From Donald Trump. Trump says, I need to end the hostage situation in Gaza. He needs to end it. Okay, great. So what are the terms of this agreement? All 48 hostages, living and deceased, because we don't even know how many are alive, right? Released on day one. In exchange, hundreds of terrorists and thousands of Palestinian detainees. So what we're saying, effectively, is that what we saw today from two Palestinian Arabs, we're going to see this times, I don't know what the number is, thousands and hundreds? Hundreds more, minimally, hundreds more times we'll see what we saw today because of this deal. And Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, being the Trump puppet that he is, he's a Trump puppet, that's what he is. He does, that's not just Trump, but he does whatever the United States says. That's true. That's true. People don't like when I call up Benjamin Netanyahu. Too bad, deal with it. Deal with it. You want to know why? Because I live in Jerusalem, and now I'm going to have to live with a situation in which hundreds and thousands of Palestinian criminals and killers and murderers are going to be let out on my street trying to murder me when I go on a bus. So I'm going to have to deal with this. You will have to deal with me calling Benjamin Netanyahu a coward and a traitor and a backstabber. Yes, people don't like it. You know what? I don't like having to live like this either. So I guess we'll both be miserable together. Too bad. And again, what did I say? There's not a single Knesset member that can stand up and say, all due respect, Mr. Trump, if you want Palestinian and Hamas terrorists and criminals released, we'll be happy to release them into the United States of America. If that's what you want, Trump says, I want this done, no problem. Everyone who wants something must give something up. Mr. Trump, you want to be involved? Now you're involved. Explain to your voters, don't come to us and demand that we explain to our citizens why we're releasing all these killers and murderers. Now you can explain it to your voters why you're doing this in the United States. And I would venture to guess that he would not allow this to happen. Therefore, he needs to leave the situation. Leave it. Don't come to us and bring us October 7th on our head. Don't do that. And again, and there's not one single Knesset member that has the boldness and the courage to bring this forward. Nobody, not one. Not one. We have 120 Knesset members, and not a single one speaks for the public. Not one. Yeah, not even Moshe Feiglin. What about Moshe Feiglin? What Moshe Feiglin? What? Who? Where? All of these people are Israel last. Every single one of them. But don't worry, they're going to come out and say, oh, for the record, I'm against this. As if that's all that's required. I'm against it. Remember, come election time, remember, I was against this. Sorry, fellas, that's not good enough. That's not good enough. Can't stand up to Trump, can't stand up to Netanyahu, can't stand up to anybody. They let the public twist in the wind. Someone yesterday writes a tweet, and it was a shame because it was a great tweet, but he made it very partisan. He said, don't worry, the Supreme Court justices and the Attorney General don't take the bus, so they don't care. Which is true. So, but here's the sad part. I said, I'm thinking to myself, I said, this guy is just a partisan guy because you know who else doesn't take the bus? The Prime Minister, the Finance Minister, the Defense Minister, Minister of National Security. None of them take the bus either. So this is not a left or right issue. It's not. You know what this is? This is the public on one side that have to deal with this and the ruling class on the other side who don't care. And that ruling class is left, center, right, and everything in between. They don't care. And I'll leave you all just with this final nugget. Israeli military has issued an evacuation order for residents in Gaza City. Yes, because that's what we do. We issue evacuation orders. Benjamin Netanyahu was getting on video yesterday. Oh, you guys better leave. You better leave. Oh, then we won't be. Then you'll be responsible. Well, here is the proper response in case anyone was wondering. I don't recall the Jewish civilians waiting at the bus stop getting an evacuation order. Do you? Were there any reports of that? Did the Palestinian killers that shot all these people at the bus stop, did they say, hey, you guys better leave. We're going to come and shoot you? I don't recall that happening. As long as this asymmetrical warfare continues to exist, we will never have victory over the Arabs. They get evacuation orders and we get funerals. That's how this works. To sum all of this up, you know what we're looking at? It's not American pressure and this and this. It's not all these fancy terms and words. It's none of this. You know what this is? It's Israel last. It's the citizens last. It's our safety last. It's our life and future last. All of it. Don't go here. Don't take the bus. What? How are we supposed to live here like this? Don't worry. The guys in the Knesset are busy figuring out how they can become filthy rich with their Abraham Accord deals. That's what concerns them. Jews can't take the bus in Israel without... By the way, the bus, that bus where everyone was shot, the prices were raised 33% to pay for all of this Arab criminality. So not only are people basically can't even afford to take the bus in their own country at this point, you may get shot on it and killed, point blank range, by illegals with semi-automatic weapons. But this doesn't concern them. I didn't even want to put it up here because it's so nauseating. Benjamin Netanyahu was out there at the scene of the crime. We're going to do this, we're going to do that. They don't have a clue. They don't have a clue, and they don't care. And I've said it before, and I'll say it again, and I'll continue to say this. Anything that's not Israel first is automatically Israel last.